Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim.
In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. Your Excellency, the President of the United Nations General Assembly, Mr. Secretary General of the United Nations, honored attendees, peace and God's blessings be upon you. We begin by congratulating Her Excellency Annalena Baerbock on her election as President of the 80th session of the United Nations General Assembly. We thank His Excellency Philemon Yang for the work that he did during his presidency of the previous session. We also express our deep appreciation to His Excellency Mr. Antonio Guterres, Secretary General of the United Nations. We thank him for his tireless efforts in upholding the principles and goals of the United Nations Charter. Mr. President, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is proud to be a founding member of this organization. It strives to translate the principles of the Charter into a tangible reality by promoting respect for international law, enhancing international peace and security, and supporting multilateral cooperation. This position stems from our deep belief in the importance of the United Nations' role in today's world. Saudi Arabia is committed to the purposes of the United Nations Charter and has responded to humanitarian calls. In doing so, the Kingdom has spared no effort in extending aid and doing so generously. Our country has provided over $141 billion in aid and assistance, benefiting 174 countries. Mr. President, as the organization marks its 80th year, we emphasize the urgent need for it to become more capable and more efficient in keeping pace with developments and finding the necessary approaches to resolve crises and put an end to conflicts, without deviating from its founding objectives, especially in the maintenance of international peace and security, without double standards or selectivity. The suffering of the Palestinian people and the unprecedented humanitarian crisis in Gaza that has officially been classified as a famine by the Integrated Food Security Phase Classification Report, IPC. This runs counter to the principles of the Charter and international law and international humanitarian law, in light of the brutal and unchecked practices of the occupying forces, including starvation, forced displacement, and systematic killing. This is done in complete disregard of the historic and legal rights of the Palestinian people, with an aim to erase their legitimate rights. This crisis makes it imperative upon us all to take serious action and put an end to the aggression and ensure sustainable humanitarian access. Mr. President, it is time to find a just and lasting solution to the Palestinian issue. Military escalation will not achieve peace or security. The continued handling of the question of Palestine outside the frameworks of law and international legitimacy is what prolonged the violence and deepened the suffering. Here, Saudi Arabia stresses the need for the international community to shoulder its responsibilities to put an end to this tragedy and achieve sustainable peace through the two-state solution as the only path that would guarantee the security of all countries in the region. The failure of the international community to take firm action to end the Israeli aggression and violation will only cause further instability and insecurity regionally and globally. Such an action will leave grave consequences and will escalate war crimes and acts of genocide. Saudi Arabia, in cooperation with the Kingdom of Norway and the European Union, launched the International Coalition to implement the two-state solution and co-chaired, along with France, a high-level international conference for the peaceful settlement of the question of Palestine and the implementation of the two-state solution. This conference aims to provide a clear practical path towards the implementation of the two-state solution and an end to occupation and conflict. The Kingdom will continue to exert intensive efforts to establish an independent Palestinian state on the 1967 borders with East Jerusalem as its capital in accordance with international resolutions, the Arab Peace Initiative, and the two-state solution here. The Kingdom commends the international support given to the high-level international conference for the peaceful settlement of the question of Palestine and the implementation of the two-state solution. We welcome the United Nations General Assembly's adoption by an overwhelming majority of the New York Declaration on the peaceful settlement of the question of Palestine, the two-state solution, and the establishment of an independent Palestinian state. We welcome the growing number of countries recognizing the state of Palestine, including France, the UK, Canada, Australia, Portugal, Malta, Belgium, Luxembourg, Monaco, Andorra, and San Marino. Such recognition is an important step towards achieving the two-state solution and bolstering the path towards a just and lasting peace. We call on all states to recognize the state of Palestine and to support the implementation of the two-state solution. This would be in line with international law and will entrench peace and security in the region and the world. Saudi Arabia appreciates the Palestinian Authority's efforts to conduct important reforms. Such efforts require more support from the international community. Mr. President, we affirm our commitment to joint action based on mutual respect and the principles of international law, which boosts mutual confidence and lays the foundations for security, stability, and sustainable development. The Kingdom continues to strengthen ties of good neighborliness, respect for the sovereignty of states, and de-escalation, and contributes to achieving calm as a means to bolster security and stability in the region and the world. In this context, Saudi Arabia strongly condemns the Iranian attack on sisterly Qatar, which runs counter to our work to build ties of good neighborliness. Saudi Arabia condemns in the strongest of terms the continued Israeli aggressions in the region, including the recent blatant attack on sisterly Qatar. We call for international action to stop these violations. We call for international measures to put a stop to Israel's actions and to deter it from such criminal behavior that threatens the region's security and stability. Based on our firm conviction of the importance of regional security and stability and preventing a nuclear arms race in our region, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia stresses the need to adhere to the non-proliferation regime to achieve a zone free of weapons of mass destruction in the Middle East. With respect to the right of states to the peaceful use of nuclear energies in accordance with international regulations, the Kingdom affirms that the diplomatic track is the way to address the issue of Iran's nuclear program and calls for positive engagement in negotiations and cooperation with the International Atomic Energy Agency. The Kingdom stresses the importance of protecting the security and freedom of navigation in the Red Sea, the Gulf of Aden, and the Strait, as they represent great importance to the global economy and regional international security. The Kingdom calls for strengthening international cooperation to combat terrorism by exchanging information, drying up its sources of financing, and limiting its propaganda campaigns that threaten the security and stability of societies. The Kingdom also warns of the dangers of the military uses of artificial intelligence applications and autonomous weapons, and the need to enact international laws regulating them. The Kingdom commends the positive steps taken by the Syrian Arab Republic to consolidate security and stability, and we welcome the lifting of sanctions off of Syria, which contributes to supporting its government to reconstruct and to promote steps of recovery and integration regionally and internationally. This would also open new horizons for economic cooperation between Syria and the world. This would reflect positively on achieving stability, prosperity, and development for the brotherly Syrian people. The Kingdom stresses the need to stop the repeated Israeli aggressions on Syrian territory, and we support to everything that would contribute to the consolidation of Syria's security and stability, respecting its sovereignty and territorial integrity, and non-interfering in its internal affairs. The Kingdom reiterates its keenness to restore the security and stability of the Republic of Yemen, stresses the importance of reaching a comprehensive political solution, and its support for the United Nations efforts and relevant international resolutions. The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia continued its efforts to support the Yemeni economy and alleviate the human suffering there. The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is one of the largest donors to the Republic of Yemen. The volume